Hi everyone, my name is May Dolblau and I'm going to talk about 5 tips on how to use a contingent offer to buy your dream home. My name is May Dolblau. I am the founder of YesFinanciallyFree.com and FinanceFreedomMastermind.com. So thank you for being on. A little bit about myself. Back in 2009, 2010, I had a lot of credit card debt, about $30,000. And that was a lot for me because I worked at a job as an assistant and I made about $35,000 a year. So that was like more than my salary because I got taxes taken out, right? So I owed a lot of money for me, and I ended up paying it all off by 2016, April 2016, quitting my job in December 2016 and starting a part-time coaching business called FinanceFreedomMastermind.com, where we just mastermind together how to become financially free as quickly as possible. So I no longer work that bank job. I am a full-time mother and a part-time entrepreneur. We make over $500 a month in passive income, mostly from dividend yielding stocks. We also make income from our Airbnb business. We had 2, we sold 1, and recently bought this 2-bedroom condo here in Waikiki. So that's what's going on with my story. If you have a lot of debt and you feel like you don't know how to get ahead, I can help you with some methods that I use. I can share with you so that you can also change your life. So my net worth, our husband and our net worth improved by $500,000 in 5 years. Since I married him 2012 to 2017. So it's a huge difference, and it's a lot about mindset. It's about money habits, thinking like a wealthy person and doing what wealthy people do. And wealthy people, they save their money and they invest it, right? Wealthy people invest money, yeah? So now today, the topic, 5 tips on how to use a contingent offer to buy your dream home. Why did I decide to write this topic? Is because we bought our dream home. I mean, it's a condo in Waikiki. It's 2 blocks from, I think it's 2 blocks, 2 or 3 blocks from Waikiki Beach. And we passed 2 hotels, and then we're there. And it's just, we have a locker downstairs where our surfboards can be pulled in and out easily. You can just truck on over, jump in, surf, come back, go swimming, whatever we want to do. So it's exciting, and it's a 2-bedroom, and it's 900, almost 1,000 square feet, which is big for us. And so, it's amazing to me, and it's quiet here, and it's beautiful, and okay. So how do you get your dream home? What are the tips on how to use a contingent offer? So let me just tell you what we did to kind of understand. We sold one of our Airbnb properties to buy this condo, all right? So that's basically the gist of what we did. But before I begin, and while I begin, I'm going to share my screen so you can see my blog, all right? And I want you guys to check it out after this because the replay is on my blog, okay? So this is my blog, YesFinanciallyFree.com, right? So you just have to put YesFinanciallyFree.com, you get here, and then today's blog post, 5 tips on how to use a contingent offer to buy your dream home, is right here, see? And I'm actually live right there on that video. So if you're actually watching this, you can see me talking and broadcasting. So here I talk about what a contingent offer is, and all the tips. So let's go through it. So contingent offer is when you make an offer to buy a property, but it has a condition attached, yeah? And if the condition is met, then you will buy the property. So it's like there's a condition, like I will buy the property if. So I made a contingent offer where I would buy the property if we could sell the first property, all right, for the price we wanted. So we said if we could sell that property, we'll buy your property. And until you tell us we can buy your property, we're not selling the other property. That's what the contingent offer was. And we did it that way. So what happened was when we offered it, the property that we wanted to sell, we put it in escrow, all right? the next day. So we've sent the offer in, and we told them it's going to be in escrow the next day, and we put it in escrow the next day, and then they got back to us the day after and told us they accepted our offer. Now, if they didn't accept our offer, we were going to pull it out of escrow, okay? Because the person we were selling to had a contingency that if we didn't buy the other one, we weren't selling to him. So if they didn't accept the offer, the deal was done. Like, we weren't selling our Airbnb property, because our Airbnb property makes us money. We're not going to sell it unless we have something we want to buy instead. So that's what happened. All right. So that's contingent offers. So here's the first tip. Only buy a property if its total cost per month is the same or less than renting. Okay. So that's tip number one right here. Tip number one. Only buy a property if its total cost per month is the same or less than renting. All right. And I'll share my screen. You guys can see. We don't have to. Yeah, there we go. Share. Okay, so now you guys can see. So tip number one, only buy a property if its total cost per month is the same or less to renting. So how do you do that? Basically, while you go and look for properties to buy, you also look to rent at the same time, all right? And look for the one that you really want to live in. Do you want to live in the rental, or do you want to live in the one you're going to buy, all right? There's pros and cons to renting and buying. Now, if you rent, obviously you have no equity, you can't sell it later, you know, all that kind of thing. And if the landlord doesn't like to improve things, you might have to go out of pocket, right? And not get reimbursed or anything like that. Now, if you buy a property, you can do whatever you want with it. However, you have to pay for maintaining it, right? So there's pros and cons, but you can paint it any color you want, you can repaint it, you can do whatever you like when you own a property. So one of the reasons I decided I'd rather own than as opposed to rent is because I don't like carpet. That was one of my main concerns. So I didn't want to live in a place that had carpet, and a lot of rentals have carpet. So it was kind of challenging, and I really didn't want carpet. So I was like, well, if we buy, you know, I can rip out carpet. And there was carpet here when we bought it too. We ripped it out. The contractor ripped it out and put in floor. So you can decide, all right? So I highly recommend you look both, buy and rent at the same time, because every market is different and your tastes are different. So while you're looking at rentals and you're looking at ones to buy, that'll give you a feel for the market. You're going to know if the property price is overpriced or not, because you can determine that, right? If I buy it, how much will I pay per month? If I rent, how much do I pay per month? We found a rental that only charged, I think, $1,600, $1,800 a month, and that was pretty affordable, right? So we're like, oh, that was what we were going to rent if the offer didn't go through. Because for us to get this property, we would have to pay about $2,500 a month buying. So this is an estimate, like under that, but almost $2,500 a month to live in this condo we bought. Okay, so I was like, if we're renting and it's only $1,600, we're saving like $900 a month, right? And but it wasn't as nice. It was still okay, but it wasn't as nice as this place. It wasn't at the beach. It was further in town. It wasn't in a beach location or anything like that. So that was not a good thing about it. But it wasn't too far away, you know. So it had pros and cons. So if we didn't buy this one, we had the rental agreement. We already talked to the landlord. He was waiting to see if our offer went through. We were going to fly with him. We were going to rent with him. That's what we were going to do. We were all ready to go. Because if we couldn't get this property and if they wanted more and we had to pay more per month, we're like, forget it, right? You know, we'll just rent because it's a lot cheaper to rent, right? So a lot of people say if you buy, you put equity in your home, right? And also the property value may go up. The property values in this building have actually gone down, so they don't always go up. Okay? I just want to let you guys know. See, last year a property sold for $465,000 in this building. There was another property that sold for $440,000. I think prior to that was $410,000. was like 3 years ago, and we bought this property for $405,000. So that means the last price and this one differs by $60,000, right? So you cannot say that the value of the property is necessarily going to go up, because it doesn't always go up. And according to my realtor, 2-bedroom condos in Waikiki are actually going down in value. So there you have it. 1-bedrooms are the same, but 2-bedrooms are going down. So that's something interesting to understand, right? So property value doesn't always go up, okay? So it does a lot in general, but doesn't always, right? So if you're buying a property and you can't afford it, that's not good. So you have to make sure you can afford it, make sure it's a good deal, right? The one that we were going to rent was smaller than this one, right? It wasn't as big. This one you could actually convert it to 3 bedrooms if you wanted. It's big enough. The other one, 2 bedrooms, and you can't make it any bigger, right? 2 bedrooms. But there you have it. So you go around looking at rentals. Maybe you're going to find a rental that you fall in love with, and it's better than anything that people are selling, right? And the price is good, right? Maybe people are selling things and it's ridiculously high and you can't ever afford it. And then you find this wonderful rental, which is just right for you, and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous and it's your dream home. Then rent your dream home. You don't necessarily have to buy your dream home, as long as you live in your dream home, right? Okay, does that make sense? Now, of course, if you rent, it could end your rental agreement at any time. You might have to move, so there is risk involved there. But I just wanted to throw that out there, because when you're looking at rentals at the same time, you're going to have a more level head about what you're willing to pay to buy. Okay, tip number 2 is find your own buyer. Yeah? Find your own buyer. Why do you find your own buyer? Because if you find your own buyer, you're more flexible, okay? So you can, if you have your own buyer, you can negotiate with the realtor, which is tip number 3. But also, if you find your own buyer, and they know they didn't put on market, they know they're getting a good deal from you, and they're more willing to let you do your contingent offer work, like because you have to offer and then put an escrow out of escrow. You need a buyer who's okay with that kind of flexibility. That if I don't buy this one, I'm not selling to you, kind of thing. So you got to make sure the buyer is on your side and is understanding what your goals are, right? And I'm not going to sell unless I buy something, So find a buyer. And tip number 3 is negotiate a fee reduction from the realtor. So if you find your own buyer and you're doing a contingent offer, the realtor is going to get 2 commissions. He's going to get a commission for selling your property, and he or she is going to get a commission also from you buying the second property. So they're going to get 2 commissions in basically one deal, even though it's 2 deals, it's a contingent deal. So just looking at the math, okay, and realtors make 5%, all right, 5%. So let's put it in. So I sold our property for $285,000. 5% is $14,250. That's a lot of money. That's a huge fee, okay? $14,250, all right, just to sell my property. So I told our realtor that I wouldn't pay him that kind of fee, because he's going to get a fee from the sale, because we're going to buy this one for $405,000, and he's going to make $405,000 times 0.05. He's going to make $20,000 off the buying. So he had to negotiate. So he went back and he negotiated down to 2%, right? So 2% of $285,000, right, is $5,700. Remember, the old number was $14,250, right? We saved $8,550 by finding our own buyer and negotiating and doing this contingent offer. So that's a lot of money, $8,550, right? So that's the next tip, all right? So negotiate with your realtor to reduce your fee. Okay, so you don't pay as much because they're getting two sides. So that's one thing. Be ready for a deal by figuring out what you want in your dream home and how much it's worth. Okay. Tip number 4 is really important because most people don't do this, but it's crucial. Okay, you need to understand how much that you want. First of all, you need to know what you want your dream home to be like, and then when you know that, and understand how much it's worth to have that. Okay. So in this case, our dream home was $405,000, right? It cost about $2,500 a month if we bought it, including everything, electricity, whatever. So then I was thinking, if I rented in this area, how much would it cost to rent? And it would cost the same, $2,500 to rent in this area, right? So, and then I was like, okay, the square footage is bigger. So if we wanted to, we could make another bedroom and then rent a room if we wanted to offset rent, or just we'll have another bedroom, whatever. So it's a better deal in that sense. And we have 2 bathrooms, 1.5 bath. We have enough for another person. So I was like, okay. And then I really wanted, and my dream is to live where I live right now is to live near the beach, so, and I like Waikiki because it's, has a lot of nice things that happen. They have parades, they have festivals a lot. There's just a lot going on here all the time. Plus the beach is so nice. Waikiki beach is so nice. So I like it here, right? So I like to be able to go jump in the water, go surfing or swimming or whatever, and come back. And it's just real chill. So it's like a dream to me to live this close to the ocean. I used to walk from like a mile out to the ocean. Now I'm just gonna walk 2 blocks back. Anyway, so I knew that I liked this area. I knew I liked being near a beach. I knew that I liked, I like to have a bigger space. I knew I wanted to have walls with doors that close so I can do a webinar here and my husband can talk on the phone in the other room and we won't bother each other. So what do you want? Okay, so that's what you have to figure out. Do you want to live in a certain location? Is that really important to you? If it's your dream home, you really have to think about it. It's not what you think you can get, it's what you really want, right? What do you want? Do you want to live near the beach? So really think about, pretend money's not an issue, and think about what your dream home would be like. How would it be like, look like, all kinds of things, right? When you imagine that, then you can go from there and you can understand the cost of it. So obviously for me to live in Waikiki is more expensive than to live somewhere else. So if we bought a condo like this in a different area of Hawaii, it would be cheaper, right? If we went, maybe. If we went to like Salt Lake, maybe we could find a condo like this and it would only be 300 something thousand. Maybe. I don't even know because I didn't look in that area. I knew what I wanted. I didn't even look in areas like that. But find out where you want to live. Do you want it to be an active place, like I like activity in Waikiki, or do you like it to be countryside, nobody around kind of place, And once you figure that out, you get an idea of how much it costs, and then you have to decide, do you want to pay for that, And that was the thing with us. We decided that we didn't want to rent out another room. We wanted to keep it all to ourselves. It costs more, right? So we have to pay the whole thing ourselves, but it's a fair cost, and we're willing to pay it. So that's important, is to figure out how much you're willing to pay, where you want to live, how big do you want it, what do you want it to look like, what features do you want. We have a huge storage locker. We wanted covered parking. We got covered parking. We got secured covered parking, storage locker. It's just, we got a nice view. We got a view of Diamond Head. I mean, it's like we like the view. That was another thing we liked. So figure out what you like and figure out how much you're willing to pay. Okay, so that's important. Because then when a deal comes, you know if you can deal or not. If it's within your price range, then deal. And then if they go above your price range, then no deal. So it's real simple, black and white, real fast. And then you can make offers fast and move fast, which is what you need to do to get a deal. And number 5 is set a deadline. So I set a deadline to do my contingent offer, and and to move into a bigger place. I did it because I was volunteering for a personal development seminar called PSI Seminar, which I highly recommend you check out, the Side Basic Seminar. It's at psiseminars.com. Anyway, I was volunteer staffing it, and the thing about the seminars, they help you achieve your goals, right? They give you tools so that you can achieve your goals, and you can also decide what you want and what makes you happy and go for it. So that's the whole point of the seminar, is to empower you. So I took the seminar, and we had a deadline. We always have deadlines. That's one of the things about effective goals, is you need a date to have it accomplished, right? So I had a deadline, and because of that deadline, I hauled butt, right? I went and I got all the listings. I went through them. I sent them to my realtor. We went and looked at them. We priced them out. We ROI'd it. We negotiated with our buyer. We talked and talked. We figured it out. We put in the offer, and the offer we put in was actually put in on Wednesday, and it was going to expire on Friday. And my realtor wanted to put it in on Thursday and have it expire Saturday, but I was like, no, my deadline is Friday, right? I had a Friday deadline. And even though that might seem weird, I was like, just send them the offer, put that property in escrow the next day, tell them it's going in escrow the next day, you'll send them proof, and then but it's still going to expire on Friday, all right? He was like, okay. So he did that, and they accepted it on Thursday or Friday. It was Thursday. They accepted it on Thursday, actually. So they accepted it before the deadline, one day before. So we made our goal by the date, but I wouldn't have worked so hard to get everything together and get it all ready if I didn't have that deadline. So make a deadline, and that will help you too. So those are the 5 tips, all right, to use a contingent offer to buy your dream home. So let's do it one more time. And thank you so much for being on the live. Appreciate you. This full thing is on my blog. I will be writing this out more thoroughly. Tip number 1, only buy a property if its total cost per month is the same or less to renting. Tip number 2, find your own buyer. Tip number 3, negotiate a fee reduction from the realtor. Tip number 4, be ready to buy it for a deal by figuring out what you want in your dream home and how much it's worth. And tip number 5, set a deadline. I hope you guys have a great day. If you follow those tips, especially the one about renting and buying, you're going to have more leeway in the market, because sometimes people buy things because they feel like they have to buy, right? And it's just kind of expensive for them, but they're like, well, I have to buy. Buying's better than renting. And that's not always the case. I just want you to understand that sometimes buying is not always as good as renting, all right? Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not, yeah? And it depends on what you want in your life. So if you find a place that's much cheaper, like $1,000 cheaper a month, and it's nice, and you want to live there, then you're saving $1,000 a month. Okay? And you might be, if you bought, you would be spending that extra $1,000, and it's not all going into equity, right? Depends on what your mortgage is. But our mortgage, all we're putting into equity, the first payment is like $400, right? So if we rented, we would be saving still like $500, right? But the reason we're willing to do that is because we like this location is much better. The view is beautiful. I mean, it's an apartment where you can be like, wow, like the life. Like I live in luxury. I'm like a superstar kind of property to me. So that's why I like it. It's like I feel like a superstar. I feel like I'm like living on the high life. So, and there's prices to pay for that, but if you're willing to pay it like we are, then that makes sense, right? So be sure to understand that, because if you decide to rent a really nice property, that extra $1,000 can be used to invest in other things, like investment property. We were living we bought a property, lived in it, then we moved out, turned it into an Airbnb. We had another one we bought Airbnb. So we were renting, and we had 2 Airbnbs, right? And if the rental had been nice, we probably would have stayed renting and then looked for more properties to buy for Airbnb investments. But we wanted to have a bigger space. Okay, thanks for being on. I hope this is helpful for you. Check out the blog, yesfinanciallyfree.com. There's lots of tips, resources, and information there. Take the 7-day Finance Freedom Challenge, where you can learn how to make 2 streams of passive income in 7 days by building a high-yield savings account and learning how to buy dividend yielding stuff for yourself so that you can pay yourself the money and create a system where you have passive income coming in line. Aloha, take care, have a great day, bye.